This is your candle message for the day. If you want to take a look at the card and guess what symbol could be on the back or what type of vibe could potentially be on the card, this is the card that I pulled. So nuts and bolts is what I'm getting. I'll read the specific meaning of the card. Tightening things up. This could have to do with something that needs to be fixed, that will be fixed. I'm hearing it's not a devastation, like it's not a disaster. All right. A mechanic is also what I'm hearing. Also, I'm hearing the tools that you need will be supplied to you. The card is talking about your professional field. This also talks about health. So the card is saying everything is in working order. Okay. Also for relationships and things like that, it talks about constructive relationships, things that are working well. So the foundations of healthy relationships, everyone's kind of willing to put in their part, do their part. I just heard in my head a solid memory. So I don't know if this has to do with study as well, or just looking at something, studying it, and like having it be, I don't know. So yeah, study, something about that, memory and study. The card also mentions DIY projects, do it yourself. So it could be something like, again, like you're building something you've never built before, or you're doing something like a collage, cutting, scissors. You could be using any of these tools here as well. But it's saying be aware of like minor things that could happen. Just like be careful when using tools. So as far as character and things like that, it says you're a strong individual who moves forward, somebody who is mature. So in general, I feel like Spirit is saying you've matured. You're only giving attention to things that work for you, things that look like they're all put together. Let's get an emphasis on that card and just see what else Spirit might be wanting to say. So love could be in question. So like part of you loves an idea, part of you loves something, the other part doesn't. Or there's something about, am I fully ready for this relationship? The card meaning is talking about sadness, loneliness. It's talking about doubts, insecurities, like gloominess. So if you resonate with the first portion of the message, just take it as is. And so when we mix them together, there's kind of like a new message here. It also could be doubting your solitude, or feeling like, am I better in relationship or am I not better in relationship? Some of you are also still trying to make sense of the union that you're in or the separation that you had. This card alone also talks about a person who chooses or likes to be alone, like a solitary person. Also, it could be like a loss of desire to do things, sadness and depression. I'm also hearing with this card like functional depression, being able to do things, but just deep inside feeling a sense of like a lone wanderer is what I heard. The card also denotes a spiritual crisis. For example, an identity crisis. So you could be doubting your journey, okay? Like you being in question with a lot of different things right now. This coming out together also talks about maybe at work you feel like no one understands you, the energy of incomprehensible, it just never seems like things are good enough or things are working smooth and flowing. It's also talking to me about like it hurts to know that before things just, you went into a relationship or you did that job, and now it's like you have so many questions about, what does this really do for me? Am I really happy? And when you start asking why, a lot of times you're uncovering the layers of how does this really feel? And so it's just like you're not settling. And so that piece of it hurts too. And this also could just be for relationships of just feeling like you've had to leave behind relationships, friend groups. And there's a question, is it me? Is it my problem? Am I the problem? Although you're not the problem. I asked Spirit, give me some more information. So I feel like you're going to be liberated from this situation. I feel like you're going to be liberated from the situation. You could receive news, the news that you were looking for. A flock of birds could also be significant. There could be travel. I'm hearing far away, getaway. I feel like some of these things in the near future you won't even be thinking about. New. So the card to me is also talking about, on the bottom of the deck, I just want to talk about this card as well. The final card here, Leo could be significant as well, or just Leo in your chart somewhere. And liberation, like freedom from these thoughts, from these people who make you think things, like people who don't give you the specific type of freedom that you need. Also freedom from being bound or tied down to something that feels like it needs constant work, or there's always doubts coming up. Spirit is saying you're really truly flying off. You're flying away. No more. Number 11 being a master number, and then you've also got the lion here. So fierce, protective, powerful, in your own lane right now. This card talks about in this deck that it could talk about power struggles. So I feel like that's part of the problem, is there could have been power struggles or a lot of ego involved in previous friendships. And I feel like whoever learned the lesson, whatever it may have been, it's freeing you from those types of power struggles. Okay, so there's an essence in this card of like a recognition of, yes, there were power struggles because you weren't allowed to be your most powerful self around these people. So let's shift a little bit. The card talks about a power position where you have a lot of responsibility, but I feel like it's something new for a lot of you. This card talks about also requiring a lot of strength, physical strength. It also could be someone who you need to work out, like you need to be physically strong to do what you're doing. It also talks about bodyguards. I'm hearing spirit say, you've got a new bodyguard. Okay, that someone could actually have a bodyguard, but or feel like your partner now is your bodyguard, or you're going to have someone who's going to be your bodyguard or feel like that. The card also talks about management or insurance. Okay, it did definitely talk about having like a boyfriend who, made you feel ultra protected. So as far as health goes, it talks about iron health. That may be a note for somebody. So if you do have health problems, this card talks about the health problems will not be around for so long, so they're temporary. Just be careful of overworking yourself. So with the Lion, it talks about you having a strong and tough temperament, but not in an excessive way. Not like everybody else told you to calm down, stop being too much. Spirit says it's just perfect. It was only a power struggle with the other people because they made it one because of their jealousy and insecurity. With the card, it's telling me like some people felt like they needed to step up, and you came with the energy of your goals, dreams, and ambitions, and they could have been threatened by the steps that you're taking in life, feeling like they're behind. The card talks about loving to discuss, loving to talk, loving to, discuss big topics. Ultimately, this person is a leader. Okay, you are a leader in whatever you're gonna do, or you're going to become a leader. Let's talk about the spiritual domain of this card. You are a person who is in control of their emotions. You have a lot of self-control, courage, and will. It says body and desires. So potentially I feel like you will be on a journey of getting a new, I'm hearing challenging your body and desire. So that could also be like accepting how you are, what you are, or there could be like a change in health and getting the body that you desire. So all in all, when all said is done, you're going to be confident with the decisions you're making now. So if it's to be in solitude a little bit, or if it's for you to just not be around certain people, like you're going to be real confident about the decisions that you've been making.